Think about the thing you're currently putting off. The conversation, the career pivot, the trip, the crazy idea. You tell yourself you're being responsible. You tell yourself you're waiting for the right time. But here is the cold, hard truth that most people don't realize until it's too late. The most dangerous thing you can do with your life is play it safe. In the end, we aren't haunted by the scars of our failures. We're haunted by the pristine, untouched skin of the risks we never took. We don't regret the no that led to a maybe. We regret the maybe that we let turn into a never. We are here to talk about the invisible tax you're paying every single day, the high cost of a comfortable life, and how to reclaim the fire before the clock runs out. We are dissecting the quiet tragedy of the unlived life, the one you traded for a steady paycheck and a predictable evening. Imagine a life painted entirely in gray. It's not a bad life. It's fine. You have the job that pays the bills, the routine that keeps you busy, and the safety net that ensures you never fall. But in the process of ensuring you never fall, you've also ensured you never fly. Every time you chose the certain over the meaningful, a little bit of the color drained out of your world. You chose the 401k over the dream, and now you're sitting in a cubicle, wondering why the air feels so thin and why the walls seem to be closing in just a few inches every year. Do you know what the most common phrase heard in hospices is? It's not, "I wish I'd worked more." It's, "I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me." You are currently trading your most precious commodity, time, for a feeling of security that is, quite frankly, a total illusion designed to keep you small and manageable. We crave safety because our brains are hardwired for the savannah. Our biology thinks a risky career move or a public speech is the same thing as a saber-toothed tiger lurking in the tall grass. But we don't live on the savannah anymore. We live in a world where the greatest predator is stagnation. In the modern world, safety is a trap. If you stay in a job you hate because it's stable, you aren't being safe. You are risking your mental health. You are risking your passion. You are risking the one and only chance you have to exist as a conscious being in this vast universe. When you choose the path of least resistance, you aren't avoiding a fall. You are simply choosing a very slow, very comfortable descent into irrelevance. The more you increase your comfort, the more you subtract from your potential. It is a direct, inverse correlation that dictates the trajectory of your growth. You cannot have a life of monumental impact and a life of total comfort at the same time. They cannot occupy the same space because one requires expansion while the other demands contraction. Every hour spent protecting what you have is an hour you aren't spending discovering what you could become. There is a ghost following you. It's the version of you that said yes. The version of you that started the business, moved across the world, or told that person you loved them before the moment passed. That version of you is vibrant. That version of you is exhausted, maybe, and maybe they've failed a few times, but they are unmistakably alive. Every day you play it safe, that ghost grows louder, becoming a haunting reminder of the person you were meant to be. It whispers to you in the quiet moments between the radio and the front door. It whispers when you're brushing your teeth and catch your own eyes in the mirror. It whispers when you see someone else, someone less talented but more courageous, doing the very thing you wanted to do. The pain of discipline weighs ounces, but the pain of regret weighs tons. Which weight are you choosing to carry today? One builds muscle, while the other crushes the spirit. Now here is the part where I tell you that it's not too late. People think that because they've spent 10, 20, or 30 years playing it safe, They've lost the ability to be bold. They think the risk-taker muscle has atrophied beyond repair. But courage isn't something you have, it's something you do. It is a verb, not a noun. It starts with one unsafe choice. One moment where you decide that the discomfort of growth is better than the numbness of stagnation. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to be more afraid of staying where you are than you are of moving forward. To begin reclaiming the color in your world, you must first identify the safe lie. What is the specific lie you tell yourself to stay comfortable? Is it, "I'm not ready," or "it's too late," or "I need more money first"? Then audit your regrets with brutal honesty. If you died tomorrow, what would be the one thing you'd be most pissed off that you didn't try? Write it down and look at it. Finally, use the 10% rule. You don't have to quit your job tomorrow and leap into the abyss. Just start spending 10% of your time being dangerous. Spend 10% of your week working on that project, making those connections, or learning that skill that makes your heart race. Small cracks are how the light gets into the gray. Everyone is terrified of failing. But what if I told you that failure is the only way to know you're actually living? When you play it safe, you never fail, but you also never learn. You stay at the same level of consciousness for 50 years, repeating the same experiences until they become a blur. A ship in harbor is safe, but that is not what ships are built for. They are built for the salt spray, the crashing waves, and the navigation of the unknown. You were built for the storm. You were built for the high seas. You were built to have your heart broken and your ego bruised and your spirit tested in the furnace of experience. Because that is where the character is forged. That is where the stories are written. Nobody tells a riveting story about the time they stayed home and watched television for the 400th night in a row. They tell stories about the time they risked it all, looked failure in the eye, and survived to tell the tale. Look at your life. Really look at it without the filters and the excuses. Are you living, or are you just waiting for the end? The cost of playing it safe isn't just a boring life or a dull routine. The cost is you. You are the price. You are trading your soul for a sense of predictability that will evaporate the moment life throws a real curveball. Security is a myth. Change is the only constant. Stop waiting for the permission slip from an authority figure who doesn't exist. Stop waiting for the sign from the universe. This is the sign. This moment is the message. The right time is a myth sold to you by people who are too afraid to move and want you to stay small with them. Take the risk. Make the call. Start the project. Break the routine. Yes, you might fail. Yes, it might be hard. But I promise you, the view from the edge is infinitely better than the view from the couch. At least on the edge, you can see the horizon. Don't let your eulogy be a list of things you almost did, or a collection of if-onlys and one-days. Your life is not a dress rehearsal. There is no second take. Go out there and make some magnificent mistakes. Get some scars that tell a story of where you've been. Live a life that is loud and messy and terrifying and beautiful. Challenge the status quo. Question the boundaries you've drawn for yourself, and push against the walls of your comfort zone until they break. Because the cost of playing it safe is far too high, and you've been overpaying for long enough. You deserve to know what you are truly capable of when the safety net is gone. It's time to stop surviving. It's time to live.